finalizing a one-year, $14 million deal with the Indianapolis Colts per sources. Jones had a chance to return to Minnesota, but now becomes the challenger to the Colts' former first-round pick, Anthony Richardson. All right, so a quick cup of coffee there in Minnesota, and then now he's on his way to Indy. You hear Stephen A. Canty back here with us. Your reaction to Daniel Jones on the Colts?
Well, I applaud it. I loved seeing 1 year, $14 million. That's about right for Daniel Jones. Not $40 million like the damn Giants did with Mr. Shame himself, GM. That's what I call Shame. Shame. I said S-H-A-M-E because of how he acted with Saquon Barkley on national television, Shannon, when they had the cameras rolling and he was so dismissive and disrespectful. And then Saquon goes out and balls out. I call him Shame, the GM Shame. S-H-A-M-E. I don't even call him by his damn name for crying out loud. So pathetic he is, okay? I don't have no problem with Dable, though. But Dable could coach. And I think Dable's going to do a good job. Given the talent, he knows what to do with it. But I look at Daniel Jones. Let's call it what it is, y'all. Even when he was drafted by the New York Giants, there was so many people that was clamoring for Justin Fields at that particular moment, if I remember correctly. They were like, what the hell is this dude getting drafted ahead of anybody else for crying out loud coming out of Duke? What he did, he worked out with the Mannings, and that's why his stock elevated? Well, listen, I love me the Mannings, but I didn't have a lot of love for the way that Daniel Jones looked. I'm not rooting against him or anything like that, but the fact of the matter is that he hasn't really shown much, okay? Even though we all know he can run. Remember that time he was running downfield Cliff for a touchdown with nobody within 20 yards of him and tripped over his damn self? Remember that? Against the Eagles. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up, okay? I mean, any other time in life you just running. But this dude is running with a clear path, nobody within the vicinity, okay? And the brother tripped over himself. This is what happens when you're Daniel Jones. So again, this is about right. Go someplace else, just like Darnold did last year with Minnesota, 1 year and $10 million. You go to Indianapolis 1 year and $14 million and show that you belong in this league before you get another damn dime. I like that. Doesn't bother me.
I like that. You know, they say he could have returned to Minnesota. I don't know if he was going to be able to get that kind of money, and I don't believe they were going to open the competition up. I believe they like J.J. McCarthy, and I believe J.J. McCarthy was going to be inserted as the starter. At least they probably have given him some indications. We will let you compete for this starting job because they want Anthony. They handed the job to Anthony Richardson, and it's like that was a mistake. But having talked to some of the guys that was on that team at the Super Bowl, Stephen A., they say they think Anthony Richardson gets the message now. What is expected of him? Be the first in the building, the last out of the building, to be a leader and to grow. Maybe too much was handed to him too early. I like this. I agree with you, Stephen A. Hell, this is what the Giants should have did anyway. They didn't have to do no deal. They could have went all the way to his fifth-year option. So in other words, you take 11 games and disregard the entire body of work the previous years. You disregard that. This is who he is, not that who he was. So with that being said, I like this move. I think Anthony Richardson, because they're very similar, they're both with projects coming out. If Daniel Jones was not coached and his offensive coordinator
take him. If Sanders is sitting there at 7, Shedeur Sanders is sitting there at 7, do you believe the Jets should take him if they like him?
If Shedeur Sanders is there, I would take him if I was the Jets, yes. I don't think you have to. You don't have to move up to go get him unless you love him. But if he's there, I think his talent in the way that he can throw the football and maneuver within the pocket and seize the defense, I would take him if I was the New York Jets. The way the structure or contract is structured with Justin Fields, and if you love him, I would. Greeny, the point I wanted to make, I think the two names that are most important in relation to this and Justin is 1, Tanner Engstrand, and 2, Garrett Wilson. Tanner Engstrand is their new offensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions. He's not Jared Goff. Don't make him be Jared Goff. So I think the challenge upon him is to build the offense around Justin. 2, I look at Garrett Wilson in this situation a little bit like I looked at Justin Jefferson with Sam Darnold and whatnot. Does this make Garrett want to stay? Does this make Garrett want to sign an extension? Because if you're the Jets and you don't give him an extension, you're nuts. And I think that is a huge part of this storyline with the Jets is keeping Garrett Wilson in your organization long term.
Look, Garrett Wilson
dollars will do that.
They were college teammates, weren't they?
They were at Ohio State together. Yeah, they have that bond together. We'll see what all happens. So Justin Fields is where he is. All these teams have made all of their moves. And then our next stop is Washington, another team that has been very busy. Jayden Daniels has a new left tackle. His team trades for 5-time Pro Bowler Laramie Tunsil from Houston. We talked about this earlier. The conversation here was about whether or not the Commanders have closed the gap on Philadelphia. They have certainly been very aggressive during this free agent period. The Dallas Cowboys, as usual, have not been. And so after this move, the Tunsil trade was announced, Micah Parsons, as he has a tendency to do, weighed in as only he can. He quote tweeted Adam Schefter reporting the trade with the letters WTF, which stand for why the face?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So here's what I would say. Here is my message to you, Micah. Get used to it. You can get the huge money in Dallas, but if you are sitting there saying, well, why are all these other teams signing all these other really good players when we obviously need them? The answer is your team doesn't do that. That's not the way they do business in Dallas, and it has cost them, and it will continue to. So, Micah, I understand you want to be there, but I think you have to make up your own mind. Do I want to be one of the biggest stars in the NFL? Because the Cowboys will make you that. Or do I want to be on a championship team? Because right now the Cowboys feel about as far away from that as almost anyone in the entire league. Orlovsky, what did you think of what Micah Parsons tweeted yesterday?
Well, he knows he's got to go against Tunsil a bunch now. The Cowboys are in the last 3 seasons 13th in cash spending. They've gone up almost $3 billion in value. That's an owner statistic. The value of the organization continues to rise. Their willingness to spend money continues to stay kind of average or plateaued. And I think Mike is at the point of going, how come I'm in an organization that doesn't truly feel like they want to go win a championship?
What do you think?
You're saying Micah should request a trade?
No, I'm not saying he should request a trade, but I think what winds up happening is he gets a monstrous contract. We talked all day yesterday about how, well, Myles Garrett's contract means Micah's going to get paid even more than that, and he has suggested he might take a little less money, but whatever it is, he's going to be extremely highly paid and deserves to be because he's an unbelievable player. But they have completely mismanaged their roster. They should have signed Dak way before they did. They should have signed CD way before they did. They got to take care of the Micah Parsons situation, and they are going to be so hamstrung that once again they continue not to make any meaningful moves in free agency because that's just not what they do. And right this minute, it feels like they are a distant third in the NFC East with no hope to move up.
Not only third, but they spent last season watching the NFC Championship game
Correct.
with the two teams that are in front of them.
Right.
And that's the ultimate insult, basically, when you're a team in a division and the championship game of the conference are two teams from your division. It's an embarrassing thing, and that's just a reality the Cowboys are going to have to get used to.
I would just be sick to my stomach if I'm Micah. You've seen, just think about this over the past couple of years, you've seen the Philadelphia Eagles go get Saquon Barkley. You've seen all the moves that the Philadelphia Eagles have made and ultimately led to a Super Bowl. You've seen the Washington